So to continue the story in terms of the creation of the free will, as we ended on the last episode, people would normally use there were guys who would just look at this thing and just draw a nice circle, but there are some of us, like me, who needed the assistance with the line. So we use the protractor and we draw a nice round line, circle. And we use a cutlass, cut the circle properly. We use this cutlass again and make sure that the surface, the sides of the wheel is straight, like 1 inch. Most wheels were 1 inch, maybe a little more than 1 inch. So we have a nice rounded wheel. Cutlass alone, because we didn't have this fancy tools like they have now, electric tools and so on. We had hand saws, but you cannot cut a wheel from a handsaw. You have to use a cutlass. Or you can start with the saw, but you cannot use a cutlass and a saw. It's either a cutlass or a saw. Because the wood has a particular grid that you must follow. And you can't follow that if a saw. Right now, with an electrical saw, you could just zzz, and you have your wheel. But no, we didn't have that back then. So it took a long time to cut your wheels and to get it very nice and flat. We used a nail, a 5-inch nail, the pillar tree nail. The houses back then were built on pillars. We call them pillar tree. Those pillars were made of carapets, bois diab, hard wood. Because the average person could not build foundations with concrete to build a house. In fact, most of the houses built in my time were wooden houses. I grew up in a wooden house, and the concrete part to our house was added to it, I think in the 70s. I was already somebody who understood myself, and put the concrete part to our house. But everybody had wooden houses on pillars. So we used the 5-inch nails, like thick nails like that. They used to nail the pillar tree, the pillars onto the raft, onto the beams for the foundation. So the pillars were round wood, and the beams were also round sometimes, but generally square. Because I think earlier on the episodes, I mentioned the hal by in terms of how they used to saw the major planks. So the 4x4 would come from that same tradition of cutting 4x4 planks to make the frames for the foundation. And some of the pillar tree too were square, but most of them were round. So the nail I'm talking about we used to make the hole for the wheels were the pillar tree nails. And we use that nail, we put it in the fire to get real red hot, and that's what we use to make our holes. So we can put the bolt through at the center of the wheels. Some people also had a drill, a hand drill. So you turn it around and you had a little like a corkscrew, the drill. So you use the drill, and the drill actually made the hole. We did that as well. But not everybody had that luxury. Some of us had to use the nail to make our holes. So now you have the wheels rounded, and then you have the holes. We use a bolt or the pistons from the engine of the cars to put through that wood to go through the shaft or the axle to have our wheels turn. But before we did that, we had to ply the wheel by getting like 1-inch rubber from the tire. So we used to take an old tire somewhere, but we wanted to get those with a little grip, because you cannot have a ball head free wheel. You want to grip so it holds you on the road nice and comfortably. You get a good ride. So I must confess that we would steal a tire or two sometimes to cut 1-inch strips to put around the wheels, so the wheels are protected with that rubber tire all the way around it. And we use nails to nail the tire or the rubber in, and we use like a blunted object to push the nail's head further into the rubber, so the nails would not hit the road, so that it would puncture our rubbers. So when the rubbers finish down to the nail, we know we have to put new rubbers on our tires. So we protected the tires with 1-inch rubber strips that we cut out of the tires we used to steal. We would use to make our rubber frames. More on the next episode.